Oh, great. Now Simbi's getting crazy. Now my cat's getting crazy now that you press record. What's up, Gail?
It's okay.
None, Gail. I thought that I can get some peace for this first episode, but apparently that's not possible when you have pets.
No, and I shut the door and I'm waiting. I'm waiting to hear the little...
Same. We have a guest on who I'm not going to show right now because he's bad, and he's climbing my TV. Anyway, hi. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Lucy.
And we're best friends. And my best friend, Lucy, over there, it was her idea to come up with this podcast, and it's called Metal Gale Radio. Lucy, tell them how you came up with this idea, because I was all for it as soon as you mentioned it.
So during quarantine, just like a lot of other people have, I found, I guess you'd say, therapy in podcasts. I love listening to music. I listen to music all the time, but there's just something about listening to two people talk about stuff that they love and have the stories to back it up. And with you, how many concerts have you fucking been to?
I can't even count. It's fucking endless.
I think between the both of us, and especially together, I think we could write a fucking book about...
We definitely could. I mean, we went to our first, I don't know if I want to say our first metal show together, but for me, it was the first time I attended a metal show was with you, and I would consider Avenged Sevenfold very much metal. And that was, 2005? So I was 18, I think.
Yeah, it was October because of the fucking the pumpkin contest. Avenged Sevenfold back in the day, before they got big, they used to play at places like Webster Hall for, what was it, $25 a ticket?
Yeah, they were so cheap. It's ridiculous.
So they had a contest, and we'll get into that next week, what more or less happened. But they pretty much had a contest where you could carve a pumpkin, and if you carved a pumpkin, you got to meet the band. But of course, you had to have a ticket, and we showed up without tickets but a pumpkin. Actually, we each both showed up with a pumpkin. But
it was your ex-boyfriend that carved all of them, because I'm not artistically inclined whatsoever. I was just praying to God. I'm like, please, let Sean do a good fucking job and get us in.
Those were so good. It was the artwork, the album cartoon artwork from Waking the Fallen.
Yeah. They came out so good. I was so impressed. But unfortunately, we got there a little too late and had to leave those pumpkins outside. But we want to give you the full deal on that next week, because what we're going to do, the layout of this podcast, so to speak, is going to be the A to Z of metal. And each week we'll talk about different bands. I guess next week, spoiler alert, one of them will be Avenged Sevenfold, because that's definitely something that Lucy and I have in common. And definitely one of our favorites, holds a lot of nostalgia, and all their albums sound super different. We just thought it would be a good way to start. But I think there's also, even though the core of this is metal and rock music, we like a lot of different genres. So there will be mentions of, I don't know, I'm a Billie Eilish fan, for instance. So even though she's definitely, I don't think she's influenced by metal. She's all about hip hop.
But even still, you never know with her.
Yeah. And then we'll be doing things like, we'll mention bands that are maybe local or that no one's heard of. Maybe they're underground, whatever. Give them a shout each week, just so you guys can check out music that you maybe never heard before.
Definitely. And I think between the both of us, we know so many different people in so many different bands. I mean, personally speaking, I can say I know people that are in original metal bands. I know people that are in original bands that maybe aren't heavy metal, but I would say maybe new age metal and hardcore bands. And I also know a lot of cover bands too. And a lot of the cover bands, it sucks because sometimes they get a bad rep because they are a cover band, and they're people look and they're well, they don't write original music. But at the same time, these people are paying tribute to the people who created music for all of us to be inspired by.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting seeing somebody else perform. You could sit there and listen to a band and they perform it great, but then you could also go and see bands that cover it, if not just as good. Example is like Schism, which we'll get into that when we talk about Tool, but Schism is a local band. They're a tribute band to Tool. And I mean, I could say personally speaking, and other people that have seen them, like I would pay to see them before I would go see Tool.
Yeah, I mean, I attended that show. That was at Mulcahy's in Montauk.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You asked me to come, and I was like, of course. I mean, because we're really missing concerts. I think that that's another reason that I really wanted to do this with you, is because we're just missing just live music experience in general. And talking about it and getting pumped up for the day where we could actually attend one and safely and all that, it's very much on my mind. And I don't know, it's a good feeling. But that show at Mulcahy's that you asked me to go to, I had a lot of fun at that. And Schism sounds amazing. I had such a good time with that show. Earlier that night, Facelift performed, which is a Alice in Chains cover band. They were incredible too. Like,
Yeah. And what a
and
lineup to like put, who would have thought that, like, if it was any other time, and like if this, say this was like in the 90s and they had Tool do a tour with Alice in Chains, like people would have looked and been like, all right, what is going on? Like, as much as that's awesome and that's two amazing bands, like their music together, it like makes you like think like, all right, are they like the best combination to go together? But both those bands perform so well and they both have such an interesting take on music, lyrically and musically. It works.
yeah, yeah, I think that it was a great lineup for that night. I agree with you. It's like apples and oranges, but somehow it created a really good vibe that night. I wanted to ask you. You can give me like top three favorite vocalists, top three favorite bands. I just want to I
Ooh.
want everyone to get a feel for like what our taste is.
Yeah, definitely top three bands as a whole in general. Um, I would have to say definitely Rammstein is definitely in my top three. I guess I would consider them, as much as I love them, I would say they're probably number two, because I do love them. I definitely like connect with them on a different level. Um, Definitely Motley Crue, hands.
Molly Crew's number one for you?
I would honestly, out of top three favorite bands, I would say Killswitch is number one for me.
Really? I, honest to God, I mean, I've known you for how many years? I thought that it would be Rammstein, like off the
I
bat. I really
love
thought it
them
would be.
dearly, and anybody who knows me personally, and just by like Facebook friends or Instagram friends, like definitely Rammstein is like up there in my favorite bands. I love them dearly. Um, but Killswitch, I feel like their lyrics definitely have been more relatable in my life. Um, Jesse Leach is a huge advocate for mental health awareness,
Yeah.
and anybody who has gone through depression, um, can, I wholeheartedly recommend listening to them because of that. They bring you out of a place that you've been in, even if it's temporary. Just by listening to one or two songs, it still makes you realize that you're never alone, and no matter how hard shit may get in your life, um, there's always a way out of it. And it's always through how strong you as a person are and how strong your mind is. Because a lot of the stuff that we go through, especially like depression and mental health and anxiety, it's a lot of ideas that we put in our own head. Even if it's stuff that we have personally gone through, um, I feel that it's still a lot of ideas we added to it on top of it, and we kind of like wig ourselves out and trick ourselves out a lot.
I
because
make up whole ass scenarios in my head that don't even happen, and I just I trip myself up, and I'm like,
exactly,
why am I even angry? I just did it to myself.
and
But so
it's
it's refreshing when like a badass band like does have like a good message. That's not to say because I'm like almost like not polar opposite, but like my favorite is obviously Pantera, and they're not really talking about mental health. We're talking Mouth for War and Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills. But I before I get to me, I want to know. So since Motley Crue's your number one was like, do you remember the first time you ever heard a Motley Crue song?
the first time I heard a Motley Crue song, which people would probably not expect this from me, but back in the day, and even today to this day, I still follow him on Instagram, and he hasn't been really doing a lot. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's working on stuff that we just don't know about because he's very behind the scenes. First time I heard Motley Crue was MTV Cribs with Twiggy Ramirez.
What? Oh my God, I remember that episode, that
And
show in general.
I've probably heard other songs from them like in passing and just like never really paid attention to it, but Twiggy has a corner of his living room that's his bass corner,
Mhm.
and he actually has Nikki Sixx's bass from the Shout at the Devil tour.
That is so
And
badass.
when he explained that and he showed the bass, it's literally like an emerald green bass with like glitter in it. It's freaking gorgeous.
Oh my
He
God.
flipped it around, and the whole back of it, carved into it with a knife, you could tell because it was like cheaply done, was SIXX. And
Oh my
as soon
God.
as I saw that, I was like, that's intense. And I'm not even like a diehard Motley fan. And then they started showing screenshots and video clips of Nikki. And I was like, game
Number,
over.
I was gonna say,
Guy.
gorgeous
Love
man,
him.
number one.
I couldn't help it. I was like, instantly, I was like, all right, this guy is beautiful, makes cool music, and Nick Twiggy has his bass in his living room. There's got to be something more to him. And I started listening to Motley Crue, and then got into 6 a.m. and Tommy Lee's side project, and it kind of escalated from there.
I remember what was Tommy's first song, that Get Naked, as like a solo, or did he do shit before that? Okay, because
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, this is nothing like Motley Crue. But again, it's an example of look where he comes from, and yet his influences otherwise led him to something. I don't know. I don't know if I would consider his solo stuff metal, like that song in particular. I don't know. Like, what would you consider like Get Naked, for instance? I
Rap
feel like it's like
rock.
I
I
feel yeah, I
it's
feel
got
like
the
it
rock taste,
definitely
but
if I feel like it definitely has like hip hop influence, but that's just like another great example of hey, like this guy was in Motley Crue for X amount of years and like I think still is, right? Like they're just not tour. Are they not touring?
they were
Or
supposed to do a reunion tour this
yeah,
year. Actually,
oh,
it was supposed to be a week before the Rammstein show.
so many
And
tours,
yeah,
so many tours. Well, one of my favorites was supposed to tour this year too, and I'm so upset because
yeah. Let's go into
oh,
your top three because
my
I'm
because
your top.
okay because I've been holding off because like in my head I'm like Mike Patton, Phil Anselmo, Mike Patton, Phil Anselmo. It's like a constant battle in my head, but in the end, Phil always wins out. Like I have my totally different kind of appreciation for Mike Patton, but Pantera is definitely number one, and Faith No More second, Alice in Chains third. And the first time I heard Pantera, it actually wasn't Pantera, like the CD. There was a local band in our neighborhood, as you know, Stoney's. What's up, Stoney? Stoney's band, Seder.
Stone.
Yo, what up? And they used to play a place over here called the Backstage in Hewlett, and they covered Walk. And I was like, I mean, that's a pretty iconic riff, so it automatically caught my attention. And I had, what was I, 15 maybe? So I had no idea. I used to live in Queens, so a lot of the music that that interested the people around me was mostly hip hop and like boy bands. You know, I moved to Long Island when I was 14.
I think we
So
all had our share of boy bands at one point. So don't
yeah,
feel like
oh
my
my
first
God,
concert
yeah.
was
I
Ricky
mean,
Martin. So don't go there. I think I still have the rings around my eyes from the fucking binoculars being pressed up against my face. That show is amazing.
oh my God. No, listen, my first concert ever was the Spice Girls. So like, I'm right there with you. I just,
Yes. That's so sick. I've
yeah,
always
yeah. You know
loved
what wasn't
them.
so sick? It was the first show after Ginger, my favorite fucking Spice Girl, left the band. So she's on all of the tour merch and not on the stage. And I'm sitting there. I was like 9 years old with this like puss on my face at Jones Beach. I was so
What
mad.
was it? What was it? The four of them?
Yeah, yeah. It was just the four of them. I was so fucking pissed. But
I want to watch
going
Dye
back,
Her Hair Blonde, where she had like the blonde highlights.
yeah, yeah. I think so.
Just to let everybody know, I've been dyeing my hair black since I'm 14 years old because I grew up as her as my idol. I've always wanted to look like that and be like that. And I think to some extent I've accomplished that. Maybe not to the fullest because somewhere along the way Slipknot came into my life and I just went from straight and narrow
Oh,
to
I
like
was like,
right off the highway.
listen. I was wearing fucking Rockaware and Baby Fat, and then Seder played that show, and I was like, "What's that?" And suddenly, now I'm shopping at the Hot Topic. It looks a little different now when you go in there to shop, but ultimately, then that's where I started shopping. And I don't know, Pantera felt like home, and I know that just music lovers in general can relate to that feeling. So I heard them play it, and then our mutual friend Valerie, she brought over a mixed CD. Now we're aging ourselves. Brought over a mixed CD to my house, and she turned on Cemetery Gates, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's over! Like that's it." Like
I
I fell in
remember
love.
when you discovered that song. We heard it like every day, and we would just sit in your basement and just listen to it and be like, wow. And
I
then we go out
know.
with our friends and be like, you got to listen to this song. And they'd be like, yeah, Cemetery Gates. It's like when we first heard Lateralist for the first time. We're like,
Yes, yes.
wow, you caught up.
I know, but you know what? We got there eventually, and I also have to thank Keith because he was, the kid at lunch that always wore the Cowboys from Hell hat. And one day I was like, "What's that?" And he looked so offended by it. He was like, "What do you mean, what's CFH?" So he kind of got me then deeper into it. And before you know it, I was fucking obsessed. And so that was the
Now we
first
just make
time.
birthday cakes for Phil.
We were high as hell, and you baked him a fucking birthday cake. And it was like a bundt cake too. I
It
think
was
you
a
got
bun
like,
cake, and it was the shittiest bun cake I've ever made. Like since then, I've gone to pastry school and can make a mean bun cake, but like this was like a box mix thrown into a bun pan, and I wrote "We heart" or "Happy Birthday, Phil. We heart you" in green glitter, crystallized glitter sprinkles, like the nastiest thing. And everyone, I know there's gonna be people that listen to this that are like, my God, I love the crystallized sprinkles. Like, go eat a bag of sugar then. That's
yeah,
literally what it is. It's dyed granulated sugar. Like, at least with sprinkles, like, it's a little softer and easier to chew, but this was crystallized green glitter sprinkles that I put all over this cake. I have a picture of
so
it
good.
somewhere. I'll post it on the Instagram.
It was, oh my, I know I have, yeah, we definitely have a picture that we could put up. We're putting it up there. That's gonna be the picture on like for the first episode thing, like our first post for episode 1. I swear to you, I think it said, "We love you, Phil A." Like
Probably.
as if there was any other Phil in our lives that we could possibly be making this cake for.
At
Oh
the end
my
of the
God.
episode, I'm going to think of another Phil. Oh, Dr. Phil.
It could be Dr. Phil.
Shout out to Trailer Trash Tammy. She just got the sickest mask. Because everyone, that's like the new thing now, everybody, we're going out and buying fashionable face masks because of COVID, which granted, you want to buy a fashionable mask If you're just wearing a mask, I'll be happy with that. I'm sure everyone could say the same thing. But she got a freaking pink mask that says I heart Dr. Phil on it.
What the fuck?
I love it. And I never
I would
would,
never,
but I
I
fucking
would
want it.
never. I just, out of all the people I would rep on a mask, it would not be Dr. Phil. But
He just did a TikTok recently and he said, I would like to request that people start calling me Daddy Phil because it's getting creepy.
I'm so, wait, hold on. Did Dr. Phil has a TikTok? That's 2020 in a nutshell right there. Even the most famed, is he a psychologist, psychiatrist? Forgive me, I don't watch the show. Most famed person on like daytime TV has a TikTok, and that is Quarantine 2020 in a nutshell for you.
Pretty much.
That's, I mean, I don't know. I've discovered some new podcasts. I've discovered some new ones. But I feel like they're really springing up now, especially because people are just missing things in life, normal life in general, that like this is just a really good way to connect. So,
And I think what inspired me to do this is that I too have been listening to like a lot of podcasts and obviously like the classic, like Joe Rogan. I absolutely like idolize him. Like he's great. And the way he speaks to people is just so natural. You would think he's known these people for 10 years and some people he doesn't. Miley Cyrus being one person that he interviewed recently, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been the only interview he's done with her. But I mean, they spoke for 2 hours. It was like they've known each other for like 10 years. And it was cool because he touches upon like every little thing, but things that people may not necessarily know. And I think that's like what inspired me to get into this with you, was that I feel like we could go through, and we are going to go through all different bands, starting at A, going through Z, but telling things that you may not necessarily know about the band. Like I know, like we're not going to talk about it now, but we were starting to go through like the letter A today and bands that we like that start with the letter A. And you were telling me things that like both of us had no idea about. And it's stuff that like I know you guys personally would like to hear because you guys hear straightforward interviews. And I was listening to Sean Crahan from Slipknot, the Clowns podcast the other day, and he was even specifically saying that when he does interviews, it's very cut and dry. It's very, okay, what are you working on now? What do you plan on doing in the future? What inspired you to do what you did? And that's pretty much where it ends. And nobody ever goes into personal things. And I'm saying personal things like, what do these people do on a day-to-day basis? Are they normal people like you and me, where they get up, have their coffee, maybe go for a run, come back, do laundry? Or do they literally like sit and ponder life? Like someone in particular, like Maynard, someone in particular, like Rob Zombie, like what goes through their head on a daily basis? Like, yeah, we could sit here and say, you know, like different things influence them, but the art that they come out with and their messages that they come out with are just so important. But hearing stories about, you know, them on tour, and like I feel like the best footage like of Avenged Sevenfold in particular, since we're going to talk about them next week, was a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
I love it. That's the meat for me. You know what I mean? I love, there's the artist, the persona, but then there's the man, the woman. And I love hearing like Mike Patton, for instance, like the infamous Angel Dust interview when they were recording the studio. I love that shit because he has never been a cut and dry person to interview. So he can talk about the music, but he's sitting there like sloppily eating a sandwich and like throwing like digs at people. I fucking love King Behavior.
My kind of guy, I could fucking sit here and eat a sandwich right now and talk to about people. I would love that.
yeah, like I enjoy hearing what's behind someone's music and why they wrote this and what it's about, but I also hearing stories about like Mike going on stage and like trolling an audience by singing na 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 na, like the same note over and over, getting hit on the head with a fucking bottle, and then the band has to dash out of there because the crowd's angry. That's the kind of shit that I want to hear. I'm paraphrasing that story, by the way. That's not the exact chain of events. There's always more to it. I can tell you this, though, that Mike Patton took a fucking shit in Axl Rose's orange juice, and I'm not waiting for the letter F to announce that for Faith No More. I'm telling you that right now.
Now, the real question is, did he drink it?
He did. He did drink it.
How do you take a glass of orange juice and not notice there's a piece of poop in it?
I don't know.
Like, it's a different color, but I have, like, rum cotta in my cup. Holiday spirit. By the way, I just want to let everybody
sober as fuck.
Going a little holiday scheme-ish with this podcast because Christmas is next week and we are, I believe, Hanukkah's still going on if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ooh, Christmas colors, even though it's a Freddy sweater. I'll put
it's fine.
Christmas tree on the Instagram stories. I have a Christmas tree with a Grim Reaper around it. So that's how we play Christmas in my house. I know
we're very traditional over here.
We're very traditional. I love that.
Yeah, but no, like you're really into, like with us, I don't know, we just have like a routine. We get the real tree, and one year we do like the colored lights with the stars, and the next year is like the white lights with the angel. It's very traditional here, but when you show me, you go all out with your decor. Like when you got that Grim Reaper, that was the best thing. That was the best Halloween decoration, and you're making it work for Christmas. I love it.
And my nieces and nephew.
Oh, it's nicotine. No legal substance on this end. On this end.
I was gonna say, stop trying to look like, like the good guy over here. It's like the good angel and the bad angel on your shoulder.
Listen, just because I don't drink or smoke no more. Listen, it's for health reasons. If it was up to me, I would have a rum chata right here too. Actually, especially around like this time of year, I love sugar so much. That's what got me into trouble. So I used to drink like Bailey's on ice with whipped cream, simple, sweet, and it just hits a spot, gives you the warm and fuzzies.
Totally. Or like eggnog.
Oh my
that's
God.
Clark W. Griswold and eggnog. I think that's what my dad always let me, because he never bought the alcohol eggnog. He would just buy like the plain Jane, like Turkey Hill eggnog from Dairy Barn. And then I think Haagen-Dazs came out with an eggnog ice cream. And like I was instantly like hooked. So like I know people that literally like gag at the sight of eggnog, but like I love eggnog. And
I love it. Have you ever tried homemade coquito? Okay. That shit.
Anything with a cream base.
Oh my
like
God.
My go-to. There's another brand that's similar to Bailey's, but it's not Bailey's. It's like it's actually a little bit cheaper price-wise, but it probably tastes just as good. I know Jessica and Russell might be listening to this, and they're probably cursing me out right now because they were the ones that showed me that. Like, it's this at the camera. But shout out to both of them for fucking showing me some swanky ass cocktails.
Yo, what's up, mermaid?
Hell yeah.
She's got mermaid hair. I'm sorry. Like I've wanted to look like Ariel, the Little Mermaid, since I'm like a pipsqueak, but she nailed the hair color. I don't think I could pull off a brighter red, but she's got it.
I had the pleasure of dyeing her hair once, and I was so nervous that I was going to mess it up because I was like, I love the color of your hair, and if it comes out too dark and you don't like it, like I'm going to feel real bad. But I ended up doing a good job.
Oh shit. Well, I think this is pretty damn good. What do you think? We pretty much said what we were gonna say.
Episode so far. I would like to talk a little bit more because why the hell not? He just came in the room.
Oh man.
Sorry, interruption.
Was that B?
Yeah, he's just pacing around underneath the chair. I think he knows that we're doing something because he's like, I want to be involved. Usually if I'm doing like TikToks and stuff like that, sometimes I do makeup TikToks for those who don't know, who don't have TikTok. I do play around, I dabble. I'm going to say dabble lightly.
Dabble in the ticks and talks?
Dabble in the TikToks.
Yeah, we're both
TikTok in years. Have you?
What, a TikTok? Fuck those things. You know how much shit has come out since Tic Tacs? You the icebreakers, like you got the cubes, you got the this, they have so much shit out now. Tic Tac, I'm sorry, Tic Tac. You were replaced.
Remember the fucking Listerine strips?
Why do we think those were good?
Not only that, but people thought you were like the coolest like kid on the fucking block if you had Listerine strips in your pocket. You went into school and you were like, now granted you couldn't get away with those today with COVID and everything. You try to give someone a fucking Listerine strip and half your thumbprint is like embedded in the Listerine strip as you're handing it to somebody.
Not only that, but oh God, I was gonna say, then that means a person's gotta take their mask off to slip it in their mouth. Oh God, our friend Christina, speaking of just like things like that you eat that are supposed to make your breath fresh, they had a cherry chill gum. This shit tasted like straight up peppermint Robitussin, and this girl loved it. What's up, Christina? I love you, but your gum fucking sucks.
Your gum fucking sucks.
Your gum fucking sucks.
Who would think that cherry and mint would be a good idea? I mean, comment down below in the comments if you think that cherry mint is like nothing to fuck with. But like, there's some things I can do with mint. But to be honest, like since we were talking about cocktails before, I don't even like mojitos.
Honestly, I'm not a fan either. You know what? Cherry in general, though, cherry and peppermint, I feel like are like very tricky flavors. Cherry could just easily taste like medicine, easily with anything. So
I think of the blood capsules. I like to use those a lot for Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
AKA TikToks, and even just like how I used them for Halloween in general. I went to a Halloween wedding this year that was COVID safe before anyone flips out. And I remember before I got there, I literally popped like 6 of these in my mouth. And Paul was looking at me and laughing, and he was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was in the car, and I was like, everyone that wants to screenshot this and get an ugly face of me. That's literally how I was in the car the whole fucking way there, because it literally tasted like I took a mouthful of cherry Robitussin and swished it around my mouth. Now, granted, the effect that comes from them is awesome, but you would think at this point in time they would come out with a different flavor of blood capsules.
I know, you would think so.
I'm sure Gene Simmons has like blood capsules that are like delicious because he uses them probably more than any celebrity that I could even think of off the top of my head right now. But
I thought I saw an article, I don't know, you said fake blood and I automatically thought of Ozzy, and I thought, didn't I see that he was releasing an album and it's supposed to be more in the vein of like his 80s stuff? I saw an article.
And it's funny you say that because the other day I was listening to, we didn't talk about this off air really. I think we talked about it like when it first came out, but right before quarantine, he came out with a song called Scary Little Green Man. And I didn't think I was going to like it because as much as I love Ozzy, I was like, Scary Little Green Man? Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
Catchy as hell song. It's freaking awesome. And it does sound like his stuff from the 80s. The music video, I don't know if it was supposed to be the whole music video or just a teaser for the music video. He had Jason Momoa play him.
Oh yeah.
Anybody that knows us knows that there's probably going to be a lot of mention of Jason Momoa on this podcast. When we met him 3 years ago actually.
Holy shit! Yeah.
Black Sabbath T-shirt on.
He did.
Talk about
that man smells like a Fiji white sand beach with like sea salt. It's just, I can't. Sorry, Jason, if you're watching this.
Christmas tree. Anyway.
Sorry for being creepy. But like, no, I mean, you're that close to someone, you just catch a scent. It's not like I went up to him and I was just like.
Someone was asking me about that the other day, and I was like, he smells like sandalwood, and like he just left the beach, but in like the best way possible.
Why is it? Isn't that so weird that it's a common question? Like when you say, "Oh, I met so and so," people ask, "What did they smell like?" That's happened to me.
Concerned if they smell like shit. Imagine if he smelled like shit. Like that would have been horrible. Probably would have like not maybe turkey, but I would have been like, great.
No, I know what you mean. I'm like, oh, I mean, I probably would have just brushed it off and been like, okay, like you're hot, but you smell like asshole, like whatever.
Let's get
but
into it since it's the
but
first episode.
that's always like a question. I think it's such like an intimate question. I'm like, I don't know.
Let's get into it since it's the first episode. Have you met someone that smelled like shit? Like celebrity wise?
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, hold on.
Maybe not like shit, but like, did they smell
Just
like,
like not good.
yeah, like maybe they could have used a bath? Because I could think of
I'm
someone right off
literally
the top of
I'm
my head.
sifting through the files in my head, right? And it's like,
All right, well, while you're thinking, the first person that comes to mind with me is Kirk from Down. Kirk Weinstein from Crowbar. Shout out to fucking Kirk Weinstein.
Kirk, we fucking love you, man, but my girl think you stank.
He stank, but I remember when we gave him a hug and a kiss, and then he tried to make out with the both of us. We'll get into that when we get into our down segment. I remember when he
No,
gave me a
no
kiss on the
disrespect
cheek.
to his woman. No disrespect to his woman. This is way, way, way in the past.
Yeah, we're fucking old. This
Yeah.
was like what, 2008.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was.
His beard smelled like when you go into a beverage center and the floor has beer spilled all over it from that guy bringing that case out of the back and drops it, and it like saturates into the concrete, and then people walk all over it. It
Oh my
smelled
god.
like literal, just straight beer, but not like your best beer, like Meisterbrow. For anybody who fucking dabbled in Meisterbrow back in the day, I don't even
Oh
know if
my
they're still a
god.
company. And I remember I even said to him, I was like, dude, you reek of beer right now. And he started laughing and looked at me straight in the face and said, I'm saving it for later.
Fucking king behavior. King behavior. I honestly cannot think of anyone that smelled bad. I can't.
Who was the
Isn't that
best smelling then?
what?
Who was the best smelling person that you met?
Russell Brand. And he's not even like in music unless you want to count like get him to the Greek. I mean, I don't know.
Blasting that soundtrack the other day. Going
You
up, I
know,
know those fucking words by heart. Like, that's a solid soundtrack.
oldest. It's
Oh,
oldest and
look at this
what was
motherfucker trying to make a cameo appearance.
that's a bad motherfucker.
He's looking at Slash. He's chilling with
Slash. Oh,
Slash.
lots to say about Slash. Lots to say about so many people. But Russell, he smelled like apple shampoo. It was just such a nice, a good smell. Evan Peters smelled like a very clean smell, like not detergent, but
Like
you
Dove.
know.
Not this
Evan
podcast is
Peters
not
did not
sponsored
smell
by
like
Dove.
Dove. Yo, Evan Peters is home right now. He's going, how the bitch know what fucking soap I use?
He's probably like, I use Pert Plus. Oh, that's shampoo.
Pert Plus, I feel like who uses that anymore? If you use Pert Plus and you are above the age where it came in like the little fish bottles, what was that? Oh no, that was L'Oreal Kids, my bad.
I was gonna say Pert Plus even fish bottles. That's me right now. I missed out. Those were good though. What was it? The no tears, the tears free shampoo. No more tears. Fucking Ozzy reference. Maybe that's where L'Oreal got it from. No more tears.
God damn it, L'Oreal.
He
Fucking
should have fucking
poses.
when he had the chance. No offense, L'Oreal, but I mean
No
they
offense, L'Oreal.
do some spicy shit that we don't know about. They'll probably get on the canceled list by the end of the year.
Oh no. Oh my God. Don't even the cancel list. You know, I speaking of a canceled list, I don't know. Did I cancel anyone this year? I know a lot of people canceled Lana Del Rey this year. And I get it. I get it.
I didn't
But
hear
I still love that bitch. Okay, Lana Del Rey shows up to a impromptu book signing. Her poetry book, it came out a couple of months ago. I have it. Very good material. She does an impromptu book signing and she shows up with a fashionable chain mask. There's nothing, it's all holes.
I saw that. I didn't know that was like about her at a book signing. I thought that was like a celebrity walking down the street
No,
at it.
oh no, there was beef beforehand. So yeah, I don't even want to touch it, but if it does have to do with some celebrity beef, but I think that maybe the mask thing was kind of just like a whole new set of people were like, bitch, what are you doing? But
That's risky
Look,
as hell, though. Like, putting it aside,
it
like
is.
the fact that people will look at that and be like, could be offended by that, judging by like what's going on. Like, people are saying even like the cloth masks aren't like helping that much. I mean, who knows? I don't think we'll like fully know until like a year or two into this, where we have more of an idea of what this is like truly about. Because I feel like we still are very uneducated. As much as people want to sit here and say, oh, we know everything, it sticks to this, we have to wear masks. Like, yeah, that might be stuff that's like generalized that we have to do, but we don't actually know. We don't know where it came from, and like people have theories about where it came from, but that doesn't mean anything. I can have
I
the
know
theory of,
we're not here to be Fox News. We're just, we've heard it all. We have our own ideas, but
but the
ultimately we just
recommendations
want
they'll just
people
her.
just be fucking safe and considerate. Just be a good person. Like, I don't care what your belief is, just be a good person. That's my take on it, on this whole thing.
But
And
as far as
and
like doing a meet and greet, if I were her, like I know just by listening to different podcasts, like over quarantine, a lot of people have said and agreed that the biggest thing for them is that's going to be hard coming out of this is when they do shows and they like can't do meet and greets. And a lot of people were saying that they were like nervous because they were like, not for nothing, you meet somebody, you shake their hand, you take pictures, you give them a hug, you do all this stuff, like it's all well and great. And a lot of people like don't really miss it because of now knowing what's going on. And not for nothing, if I was a celebrity, I would be nervous doing meet and greets as
for
much as I
sure,
want to give the fans what they want. Everybody's sanitary and hygiene conditions are different. And now I'm talking about even before COVID. I used to
yeah.
walk, I'm sure everyone could attest to this. You walk into the supermarket, you walk into an office building, and somebody sneezes, and it's great, cool. You cover your mouth or your nose and you sneeze into it. But then, like, you sit there and what do? You wipe it on your pants. Like, I'm sure these people, or they just leave it alone and let it air dry. I'm sure these, like, older people that are just, I don't know. I get, like, such a skeeve when I see, like, an older
No,
business.
it is. And I mean, and they have to worry. Even I mean, they probably wouldn't allow this to happen anyway. Obviously, they do meet and greets before shows, but there have been times where we've been outside of concerts, like right after, we're sweaty and gross, and we happen to meet the person, get to hug them or take a picture with them. They're zip. I mean, there's going to be none of that.
No,
Like,
and
you know
it's
what I mean?
scary.
And
It's,
that's like a really, that's always been like a kind of an adrenaline, like, adrenaline rush. And exciting part for me was that if there was not an official meet and greet at a show, we knew that we could just go to the back entrance and sit there, wait, and they would eventually come out. I'm looking at you, Phil. You
I'll
gave
get,
my girl you gave my girl bronchitis. I love you, Phil and Salmo, but you came out, you went right to the bus. He redeemed himself like three
yeah,
times after that, so it's fine.
I have to meet him to get, like, full closure on that
I
situation.
understand. I
But
understand your pain.
it was more important to me knowing that you got to meet him afterwards and meet him like on a good point because I know how much you care about him more than I do. So as long as he made peace with you, then I'm okay with that. I'd like to sit him down and tell him what he did at one point in time or another. Shout out to Phil if you're listening, which you're probably not, but whatever.
So now that we've arrived to Phil again,
I
we
think
did.
we're gonna arrive to fill a lot of points. I think this is gonna be like a train station, and it's like every other station is Phil, which I'm okay with because Phil is a very interesting person. If anything, like he's kind of the inspiration to this, like the name
That's
of
what
this
I was
podcast.
about to go into. I promise you. I can go on about Phil. There's so much Phil stuff. I feel like for the letter P, it should just be Phil, but that's just my take. But Phil,
I think we should do it, and I think at that point, I think we should make like T-shirts that say it's Phil, and we'll wear them for the podcast.
okay, this is perfect. Okay, back in the day, there was a video. I guess I don't know if they were a radio station or like some kind of subcat on like MTV. I don't know, but there's a video of a woman interviewing Phil Anselmo on his tour bus. He's fucking blasted, you could tell, and it was hilarious as fuck. And they're called Metal Thrash Rock. So they wanted him to do like an intro clip to like their show or something, and he had to say, this is MTR. You're listening to MTR. This is Phil Anselmo, and he just could not get the words out. He just kept trying, and there was laughing, and he finally, at the end of the video, goes, "Hello, this is Philip Agent Salmo. You're listening to MTR, and we like it." And everyone just breaks out in laughter. And that is just, once we found that video, it's just been like a personal meme of ours of sorts. And so we were like, MGR sounds pretty good. And I mean, you came up with the name, and then you realized the initials could work. MGR.
Don't worry, people. At coming to a theater near you, we're gonna put that into our intro. This episode, we wanted to kind of get a feel of like the layout of the podcast. Like, it's gonna be very natural and like not literally reading from bullet points of what we're gonna be talking about, but we're gonna try to have as many people as we can on that we know in the music industry, and we're really fucking excited. We're gonna get
I'm so excited. We're gonna look. We have a lot of people in our lives that we just know that are musicians, even if they're not part of a band. They still have like a lot of knowledge to share, or just like fun people that we know can get in on a conversation. Like if we know someone who's, you know, Killswitch's biggest fan, well, I know that's you, but you know what I'm saying. but like someone's biggest fan, we have them on here, and like maybe they have something to say about the band, about a particular song, record, like backstage moment that might be interesting for you guys to hear, because I know that's what I'm going to be like listening out for, or looking for when we talk about these bands, because that's the shit that I like to hear. I like to hear the wacky stuff, like, you know, Mike shitting in Axl's drink.
I still can't believe he drank that. Going back to that for a minute, how the fuck did he not realize?
And
Mike was, but how did you not fucking realize that there was poo in your cup?
I have no idea. I mean, were they that drunk? Possibly.
No, sorry, you can't be that drunk. Like, you see something brown or whatever color your poo may be that day floating around in a cup. Like,
no, I know.
Unless he's pooping ice cubes, which would be pretty talented.
Listen, he's that fucking talented, but he's not that talented. He's not
pooping ice cubes. That might be my inner stoner talking, but I could definitely do that.
You're gonna hear Gail and Babs a lot. And
should we delve, since it's the first episode, should we delve into the Babs and Gail story? I guess we'll start with Babs first, because Gail was more recent.
Yeah, Gail was a recent development. It was so when we were much younger, I know I make it sound like we're 50, whatever. I'm gonna be 34 next month. I don't give a fuck.
We're close to it.
I think that would be like, wait, hold on. 16 maybe? And Lucy, I had red hair, not this exact color, but I had just dyed my hair red. And then Lucy. What?
Remember the name of it?
Oh my God, fuck.
Sangria.
It was the Garnier Nutrice, right?
Hell yeah.
That was it. Oh my God.
They still have it, and it's the same model on the box. Like, this bitch didn't age at all in the last 15 years. Or they couldn't get another model. It's literally the same model on the box.
Yo, this girl goes to the store, picks up the same box. I don't think that you knew at the time. Maybe you did. I don't know. Maybe you make me, I don't know what it is from your point of view. All I know is I walk into the bathroom after she's done drying her hair. She goes, look, we're like the Babsy twins. And she said it in that tone of voice. And I fucking lost it. And just ever since then, it went from Babsy to Babs, for short. Gail was a recent development. I guess we can thank Gal Gadot. Is it Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot? I don't want to pronounce it wrong because she's a queen.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Like Doe a deer, but
I'm Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman.
The hot is really Wonder Woman.
And I think that we just we took her first name and just adopted it as like an adjective. I think we were just, so we'll say, oh my God, she's such a Gail. And that just means like she's such a babe. But we call each other that.
Do you remember when exactly that happened?
I honestly don't.
We
Because
were
that's really recent.
at I don't even remember the name of the con, but it's when we met Jason Momoa, and we were sitting at a it was a cosplay costume contest that they had going on, and we were waiting because they were supposed to be doing a Punisher panel for season 2, and we were waiting for
Oh.
John Berthel to come out. And shout out to John Berthel. He was supposed to come out and do a panel for Punisher season 2, and we were sitting there and we were waiting, and we were like, this is taking like a while. And we were talking about Gal Gadot because she was there that day too. We didn't meet her, but she was there. And that's how we were like going a little stir crazy. And we were like, she's such a gal. And like it just like escalated from there. But unfortunately, John Berthel never showed up because his house burnt down during the California
Oh
fires.
my God, that's right.
And he had to cancel last minute. He couldn't fly in, which was so freaking sad. Like, and you look at people like that, and like I know a lot of people automatically look and be like, oh, well, he's got money, he could buy a new house. Like, no matter how much money you have, like you buy a house, you make memories in that
That's
house.
it. Your home's your sanctuary. I don't care if it's a refrigerator box or like a 17-room mansion. That's your home. So there.
Not to laugh, but my dad, when my parents first split up, my dad always used to say that we were eating him out of house and home, and that he was spending so much money on us that he was going to end up living in a refrigerator box in Penn Station, eating nothing but microwave popcorn. And like, as much as I never wish that upon somebody, like I always picture that in my head, him doing that, and I just couldn't help but laugh. Like
No, I would have
picturing
like
my
dropped
dad,
by.
anybody that knows my dad, like him in a refrigerator box, like he probably would have gotten mad because like a rat would have tried to like come in and steal his popcorn, and he would have like kicked the box across the freaking train tracks, and then a train would have ran it over. Like it would
Yo,
have been like a chain of events.
your dad is like, what would happen if like Jack Nicholson and Donald Trump had a baby?
Like,
Like his like had a baby and fuck.
oh,
Where's that from?
what? Oh, Pineapple
Pineapple
Express.
Express. Oh
Okay.
my God.
What?
And then, what? That movie is, oh my God, that movie's something else. I can't. Like one of the most quotable movies ever. Oh, look, it's Mr. Folgers.
I thought hurricane season was over.
Oh,
I
shit.
say that every time there's a hurricane. Not that we get like a shit ton of hurricanes here,
I
but
say it when
we
it's
get enough.
drizzling outside. I don't give a fuck. Any chance to say that line. No, that movie was so funny. I'm like a big fan of that whole pack.
We saw
I
that
really,
in Tropic Thunder the same week.
I had no idea that was Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder until we went with Chris Oliveri. What up, Chris? Pimpaveri? And he was sitting next to me, and he goes, it's Tom Cruise, right? And I'm like, no, it's not.
That was
I'm
insane.
like, that is not my
He pulled that
Lestat.
off so well because they didn't talk about it. They didn't advertise it or say anything that
Nothing.
he was gonna like be in it at all. Like, and even the trailers in the beginning of Tropic Thunder.
Oh my God, those were like masterpieces, like all by themselves. They were so good. That was
I
such a
think
good
remember
cast.
seeing them in the theater. I think I could honestly say almost everybody in that theater assumed those were real trailers for real movies that were coming out.
Oh, absolutely. It didn't like actually hit me until I don't know.
The Robert
As
Downey Jr. movie.
seriously, because like the Jack Black one with like the family that like farts at the table, whatever, on brand for Jack Black. That's very on brand. So it just kept going. And I'm like, oh no, our DJ would never be part of this. This is totally a fucking, we're being punked. Where's Ashton?
What was
So
the award? It was like
the
best
Crying
best
Monkey Award. I was like, oh, it's a joke. I'm like, sometimes it could be so dense. I'm like, oh.
Speaking of my dad, by the way, like going back to him real quick, he fucking fell asleep during that movie. I
Tropic
think he would have
Thunder?
laughed his ass off during that movie because that's like his style of like laughter.
What?
He fell asleep during the opening credits, and me and Lewis were literally like, shout out to Lewis, my little brother, freaking smacking him like, wake up, this is hysterical, and he's just like,
What
By
the
the way,
fuck?
you fall asleep during the movies, at the fucking movies, and have the audacity to snore, like, you need to
Audacity.
be on the cancel 2020 list. Just saying. Because, like, get some rest before you go to the movies. Have a Red Bull before you go to the movies. Have some little pep in your step before you go to the movies.
I know.
You're paying $20 a ticket to watch a movie on a screen that's maybe like 12 of your freaking at-home TVs.
No, I know. I
Fall
never
asleep.
understood that. The movies, it's an experience, right? It's like I genuinely miss, sitting down, realizing I'm hungry during the previews, going out, and then like having to find my friends in the dark. I miss that. I miss that.
I
I
miss
do.
my friends in the dark.
Yeah, I want the, you know how that is. Going up and down every aisle, squinting, like that's gonna fucking help. Then you have to wait for like a super bright, dramatic moment, like in the next trailer to be like, oh my god, yes, this is my chance. It's not like a
Never
scary
understood
movie.
either is that the movie is so fucking loud that how could you sit there and fall asleep? Like, I can't fall asleep if the
I
TV's on in
know.
my house. I mean, like, I could deal with a little background noise. Like, I keep my fan on at night and like little things here and there, but like if Paul's watching TV in the other room and I hear it and I'm like trying to fall asleep, it takes me longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I need a little white noise when I go to sleep. Like I could be freezing down here, I still put the fan on because I got like that huge ass UGG blanket. Like I'm good, you know.
I'd rather be, I was telling my coworker this the other day, I'd rather be under 10 blankets with the air conditioning blasting than out of the blankets with no blankets on and it'd be 100 degrees in there.
Well, yeah, because when it's cold, you could just layer the fuck up. Like, yeah, it is annoying. It definitely makes me not want to like do as much. But I think since I lost weight, I can actually handle the heat a bit more. But it still is more. It's more annoying. But yeah, for sure.
Going into
But
that
the
real quick, between the both of us, I mean, you've been on your weight loss journey for over a year now. And you,
yeah,
I was looking at pictures the other day and like, not to gas you up because you're my best friend, but I'm gonna fucking gas you up because you are my best friend. You've lost a shit ton of weight and like, I just, it blows my mind. Like, it's crazy. Like, you look like a new person. And like,
I
I can't be
feel
like
like
any more proud of you because I know you
thank you.
had like health issues and I don't want to like get into that on the podcast, but like, you did have health issues and like, now that you've like pretty much like are overcoming them because of like your weight loss, like that's fucking incredible. And
Thank you so much.
I think more people need to be like aware of that because I think a lot of people look and they say like, oh well, it's hard for me to lose weight because of anxiety and depression. You have to lose weight because of your health and because you want to better yourself as far as your health. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could say like I've lost weight since January. I was fortunate enough to have a personal trainer that helped me out a lot. Shout out to fucking Martin Ford, fucking
yeah.
beast and a half. He helped me get to where I am now. And it was hard. It was really hard. And even like cutting out things that it's easy to look and say, oh, I'm gonna go get that fucking burger from McDonald's. And as I have Wendy's French fries waiting inside for me. But
Yo,
that's
it's fine. Treat day.
that's besides the point. But like, it's all about moderation. You can't have that shit 3 times a day, every single day. Like, you just
No.
can't. Like, if you want to give yourself like one day a week to fucking treat yourself, that's fine. But like, the amount of shit that we know now that we didn't know even 10 years ago about the food that we get from these places, it's so scary.
Cutting out that shit, I know you said I look like a new person. I feel like a new person. Listen, there was for my whole life up until about a year and a half ago, like I overcompensated, by like putting on super heavy makeup. I always had to look pristine, right? Because I didn't feel confident about my body and I felt unhealthy, unhappy. So I made sure I looked pristine. Like my hair had to be perfect, my makeup had to be perfect. I loved playing with makeup, but it was a different level back then. I did not feel confident at all. you know, and yeah, like I'll go into like my health issues because you know what, like I want to because I wasn't always this person. The I hit rock bottom when it came to, you know, eating like shit. You know, 3 a.m. bindies could only last and make you happy for so long
I'm
until they catch up to you. And you know, so when I went to the doctor, you know, I got some scans. They were like, all right, like you got some shit going on with your liver, like you gotta stop eating sugar. And I with the threat of not living as long, I I gave myself no choice and I just cut out sugar and fried food, and it was very strict. And honestly, I would not ever recommend to someone what I did because it was literally like a prescription diet. You know what I mean? Like it
You're
was
literally
prescribed to me.
changing people don't realize that you're changing your whole lifestyle. You're used
Lifestyle. I
to
mean,
saying coming home from work and being like, all right, it's midnight. I'm kind of hungry. I'm binge watching my favorite TV show. I'm gonna fucking order Domino's. Especially now with quarantine, like it's
oh
like you
yeah.
don't want to leave the house. You don't want to like freaking go to the supermarket and stuff because like as much as people are like, oh, it's safer to go to the supermarket, you're still dealing with people in the supermarket.
Yeah,
And
and it's
you're
hard to get motivated during this time too. Like there are a lot of people like you, for instance. You did fucking incredible work. You got the personal trainer and like you went for it, but there's a lot of people that can't find the motivation to do that. But honestly, what got me through a lot of it is music.
yeah.
I'm telling you, and this is why this is so important to me too. Is music for me? It's like instantly I put on Sunshine by Alice in Chains, my mood's up. Like instantly. It just never fails. Or like if I want to get like really pumped up, like I'll put on like, all right, well, this isn't metal really, but Denny Skip, what's up, Denny? Like we'll cover him in letter D. But like he's really, you know, music has been a great source of motivation and happiness. And I don't know, I just feel like it's important to, if you have that kind of relationship with music, it will help you through the dark shit. It will help you through struggles like that, whether that's weight loss, mental health, anything.
Well, I was gonna say that's what I was gonna get into was that I feel like not only physically as a person you've changed, but I definitely see like a change in your mental health. And I feel like something
Totally.
like that I could relate to that as far as like when I was heavier, um, I felt like I always had to, you know, try to look my best. And it's funny because I always like pictured outfits and hairstyles and makeup looks in my head, and then I would do them and I'd be like, it's totally not what I wanted to look like. And
Yeah.
now that I have lost majority of the weight that I've wanted to lose, it's definitely easier to look and say, I feel good about myself without having to do all of that. Like, obviously, I was going to put makeup on for the podcast so I didn't scare anyone.
Oh,
But
please.
with that being said, I definitely feel like I could go out and be more comfortable, like doing everyday shopping and going to work with definitely, like, I don't wear eyelashes to work.
I don't wear anything. I put on like some maybe tinted moisturizer for like on my lips, and I moisturize my face. I go to work. I mean, like this, my hair. This is how I went to work today. Um, Not this though. I'm not gonna wear red lipstick to work. I just wanted to use my new red lipstick, to be honest with you,
Well, it's
because
beautiful, and I'm glad you did. Because we
thank you.
started putting it before we started filming this, and I'm glad it did because it looks really fucking poppy on camera. I love it.
Nice. Not sponsored, but Fenty. Ooh, girl.
To
The
the point
the
where you're
Fenty lip paint by Rihanna, amazing.
dude, I have
And
their
I
setting powder on right now, and I love it. The Fenty setting powder, the lavender scented powder.
she's got amazing shit. That came with a liquid eyeliner, which I'm really excited to like try out as well. I stick with House Laboratories. I love their eyeliner. But see, like we love doing makeup, but now we're in a place where we can step outside in our bare face and just feel good. And I don't know if that's something that happens with age or with just like a bettering, like an improved mental health, but I'm just so fucking happy I'm
I
there
feel like
because
it's
let me tell
definitely
you.
improved mental health because I feel like when the both of us were our heavy at our heaviest points, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was Baby Lil giving a shout out to himself. Um, I feel like when we were both heavy, I feel that we felt we had to put more effort into our looks. Now I feel like when we do a simple eyeliner, maybe like a nude lip color and maybe like a more natural look, I feel like we could be more happy with ourselves because of that.
Absolutely.
And I feel like a general overall health, I feel like there's nothing better than getting up and looking at pictures of when you were heavier. And when I was heavier, I look back on pictures and I'm like, holy crap, I looked like that? How did I let myself get to that point? Oh wait, food. I love food. That's how I got to that point. And it's
That's
like,
how we got
don't
there.
get
We
me
found
wrong, like we both
our
fucking love
food.
food. It's not like we're sitting here saying, oh my God, food's bad for you. It's just what you put into your body and the effect it has on your body. Like, I know we're kind of trailing off from what this podcast is supposed to be about, but like,
But they should know where we're coming from and who we are today and what led us to even do this in the first place. And I think that it's all connected.
well, I think it's connected. What I was going to say was, I think it's like connected in the sense because, like you were saying before, I feel like there's certain music that you listen to and you just automatically puts you in that mindset. For me
Mhm.
personally, when I'm working out or if I'm like about to go to the gym or have to get into that mindset, I'm listening to fucking Parkway Drive. I'm listening to fucking Necro Goblikin. Like, I'm listening to stuff that's like, especially
Yeah.
Parkway Drive, like, they just really they know how to get your blood flowing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You show me a couple of their songs. I want to delve into them more,
Yeah, we'll talk
for
about that when
sure.
we get to pee, but
Yeah.
they're insane. And Necro Goblikin is great as well. They're definitely interesting too. I feel like your brother would definitely freaking love them because it's not their singer. I think he's a mascot. We'll get more into it when we get into N. Um, but I believe he's their mascot. But there's a guy, his name is John Necro Goblikin or John Goblin. Shout out to him. We fucking love him. He literally like runs around on stage dressed up as a goblin as this band plays, and they're like
God.
much like a hardcore powercore like metal band, and they're great, they really are, but like John Goblin makes that fucking band.
Yeah.
He does. The singer is amazing, the whole band is talented as a whole, don't get me wrong, but those music videos of like No One Survives in particular, like you see like a day in the life of a regular person getting up, going to work, fucking getting picked on by the office bully, fucking leaving work, just going home, smoking a fat bong, having a drink, and going out and socializing and feeling awkward, but just like trying to get in his own element. But it's a dude dressed up as a goblin.
It's amazing.
And it's like so relatable, yet at the same time, you're like, oh my God, this guy looks crazy. But he's awesome. He freaking does like Instagram live videos and shit. Like they played Amityville Music Hall a couple of years ago, and he did like, I really wish I went. They did like a meet and greet and stuff like that, and it's literally like him taking pictures with you and shit. Like it's crazy. But their music too, like those bands, just like it gets your blood flowing, and it like literally makes
Yeah.
you. It's like, and shout out to a special band that's near and dear to my heart, fucking Fever 333. Um, if
I
you
guess
hear
we I guess we both I guess we both found our F's.
yeah, I think so.
I think we can't wait to get to F. We're like, come on.
I can't wait to talk about them. Shout out to Jason Allen Butler. I fucking love you to death. Inside and out, beautiful fucking person. Everything that he represents as a person and all the shitty things, whether you believe in a certain side of politics, um, he really just believes in the good of people. And I always loved supporting artists, but I love supporting artists who take the time to turn around and appreciate their fans. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, record sale matter, ticket sales matter, merch sales matter. But if you if you don't have any fans, you're nothing. If you have no one
Yeah,
listening
no,
or
that
downloading their shit, every time
absolutely.
I have posted something and tagged them in it, whether it was a 30-second clip from a show that I saw them at, or the jacket that I made, which I'll wear on the fucking F podcast. Anytime I tag them in something, it literally takes minutes, and that man is messaging me on Instagram like, shout out to you, you're the fucking best, thank you for supporting us, you're fucking family. And Paul laughs at me. I like tear up and like get emotional when I read those messages, but it's because it's not just about the music at that point. It's about that connection that we made with each other from his music. And that's why a lot of these artists put this music out there, and that's like what we want to get into with you guys, of where this music came from, what these people were inspired by, stories about, because we love a lot of these bands and we've met a lot of these bands. I've personally never seen Fever 333 with you, but I've seen Jason's other band that he was in, Let Live, a couple times, and had the pleasure of meeting him twice. And just the amount of stories we have about talking to these people and about these people and seeing them live, and you know, just different stories like that.
Oh yeah,
like that these people are real people, and it gets us into like a deeper like look on who these people are. I think it makes it so much more interesting than just hearing what they're doing now, what they were inspired by. Like, of course we want to know what they were inspired by, but why were they inspired by these people? I watched a documentary on Keith Richards, and for a half an hour he talked about Muddy Waters, like
for a half hour.
and it's
You know,
crazy.
and the live music experience for me is extremely unique because it's just kind of, it's unlike anything else. I would describe it as euphoric, because for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, depending if you like the opening band, that it's like this whole, it's just, you're all one and you're all screaming the same lyrics, your focus is on the same thing, everyone's there for the same reason, and you're sweating and there's armpits in your face and you just don't give a fuck, because it just, feeling that energy in the room is such an addictive thing for me. I love it so much. And we've been to so many live shows together and then separately. I just feel like we have so much to share about like what those certain crowds are like, or who was, you know, a bunch of pussies, or who was
I think we can
or like
solidly
who was so
agree
badass.
that I think we could solidly agree that when shows are a thing again, and mosh pits are a thing again, and general admission where we're all combined like a big fucking herd of wild animals that we are as the metal fucking community. Because I've seen you motherfuckers do some crazy shit in pits, and to be completely honest, I live for it.
I live for it. We're
I
barricade
live for it.
girls. We're barricade girls, but we look back, we see you, we pass you over our heads and hope that you don't break our nose. Like, we're
Not
there.
only that, but I think we could honestly say that maybe a joint effort should be put into play when shows are a thing again. And I apologize in advance if you're about to choke on your vape, but I think we should all wear deodorant when we go to these concerts, because I could honestly say, and I know there's somebody sitting out there listening to this right now going, wow, the last time I was at a show, I was next to some guy and or girl, and their pits smelled like an onion patch.
Oh my God. Oh my
I
God.
think we're
So
all
bad.
adults, and even to the shout out to the teenagers that come to these shows that aren't as used to the scene as we are. Wear deodorant.
Wear
No,
deodorant, and also not Tom's, because Tom's doesn't work. I'm sorry. Find, if you're against the whole aluminum thing, right? Find a different brand, because Tom doesn't
I
work.
don't care if you duct tape fucking wet wipes to your armpits. As long as I don't smell BO, I'm a happy person.
I don't care if you stick tea bags under there and you smell like some chamomile peppermint shit.
Imagine, and then they're standing there like this, and they're freaking like doing the move back so you can see the fucking devil horns, but they have tea bags like this.
Oh shit. Oh my fucking God. I just got like a raw image. Like, I don't know why I just thought of Dimebag Darrell's beard. Rest in peace. But I just thought of like, that's the only way a teabag could possibly hang on, is if their armpit hair was that fucking long.
Like
I'm
braided
so,
in.
I'm so, you know what? It's very weird being ourselves and describing the imagery in our head, but I think that's what makes, I don't know, that's why we want to fucking do this too. I don't like, listen, I understand like conducted, structured interviews and things like that, or podcasts. I get it. Some things need a format, but I like when you could just roll with it and whatever comes to your head, just fucking say it.
Hell yeah.
Because that's how memes are made, you
I
know?
think we'll have more of a format when we start like interviewing people.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's got to be some
More,
structure, but
but I think a lot of the people too that we're going to be interviewing are people that we know personally. So I think that's going to help too, because I feel like it's just going to be like a third person added into our conversation. Like the
absolutely,
shit
yeah.
that me and Nikki talk about like all the time, and I mean with some discretion, uh, but I feel like people need to hear what we talk about. And there's probably some people sitting there saying, well, we don't give a fuck what you talk about right now. But if you appreciate music, I think
Yeah, if you appreciate music, if you want to hear some like behind the scenes, backstage stories, if you want to discover new bands or maybe even discover old bands that you never got into, maybe I'll, one of us will spark your memory and be like, oh yeah, Deftones. They mentioned so and so mentioned Deftones to me in the past. I never really listened to their first album. I'm gonna go for it. There you go.
not only that, but I think it'll also give people like an insight on um just like you were saying, like you could listen to somebody and say, oh, okay, like I haven't heard that band in a while too.
Hmm.
But tell us what we should be fucking listening to. If we're fucking going through letters and you're like, oh my God, they need to talk about this band, like we're going to do more Instagram polls and Facebook polls, asking you guys what you want to hear us talk about. And the cool thing is that there are certain bands, well, actually, pretty much every band, but we're going to look through and we're going to pick out stuff that you didn't necessarily know. I'm sure there's a lot of things about different bands that are out there that you don't know about. Like I said, I was listening to Sean Crahan's podcast, and he was talking about, like, people haven't really asked me what I've been doing during quarantine. He's been gardening. Like, that's incredible to me. Like, as much as gardening may be something so simple, and people are probably sitting there
But
going, wow, who cares if he's
you'd never expect that to be the thing that's getting him through it,
exactly. And
you know?
like that makes him, maybe not makes him different, because there's probably other people out there that are gardening during quarantine, but it just brings a whole other light to who he is as a person.
Totally. Just like, Phil Insano was out here petting goats and shit in the swamp. Like, listen, I get a kick out of him. Listen, I'll always bring it back to Phil. I'll always somehow bring it back to Phil.
Bring it back.
bring it back to
I
Phil.
want to go to Phil's farm and see the potbelly pigs that he has.
I just want to go to Phil's farm.
I love how we're calling it Phil's farm. Watch.
Yo, like,
It's probably
oh
like
my
Mother's
God.
Angel's farm or something. Like,
See, this is how memes are made. Come down to Phil Pitch and Selmo's Angel Mother Farm. Wait, what did you say? Mother's Angel
Angel.
Farm. We're gonna pet some goats.
Dude, imagine if he starts a petting zoo.
Phil's petting zoo. Phil's farm of Mother's Angel's petting zoo. That doesn't work at all. Think of
Mother's
something
Angel's
better.
furry creatures.
Oh shit, there she goes.
Mother's Angel's furry friends. That's it.
There you go. Phil's furry friends.
Phil, if you're
Shut the
listening,
fuck up.
make a petting zoo.
Oh my God, Phil, do it. Phil, please do it.
That'd be incredible.
Oh man.
We still have to go to his haunted house. Maybe when
Oh,
quarantine ends next year.
yes. The first place I'm going to travel when all this is over is New Orleans. It was my brother and I have talked about it for years. More it's for him, it's always about food. Always, because he's a chef, that's his thing. For me, it was always about like the spooky shit, like the museums, cemeteries, things like that. But New Orleans, again, is something else that just feels like home. I've never even been there. And maybe there's people from New Orleans that are like, yo, it fucking sucks here, blah, blah. Like, I get it, okay? If anyone asks me about my hometown, I'm going to say that it
I
sucks.
was just gonna say, you live in a place, like chances
Yeah.
are you're gonna say it sucks. Because I have like friends in Manchester, and they're like, "Yeah, it's boring here. It's Manchester." And I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're in Europe. You're in a whole other fucking country." Like,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah.
"I'd rather go to New York." And I'm like, "What?"
I don't know. Listen,
Country doesn't
there's,
you. I think it's like a staple that, like, unless you're one of those people that are like, oh my god, I love my hometown, and you're literally repping your fucking hometown shirts like at a fucking like convenience
not I.
store. You're not
Not
doing
I.
it. No. Like,
I
I
mean,
love New York. I don't want to sit here and like make it out to be like, oh, New York sucks eggs, because it doesn't. There's a lot of I get a lot of feelings about New York, but I feel like, as sad as it may sound, like maybe not Long Island. If I'm traveling somewhere and I come home from traveling and I'm like pulling into my hometown, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed you. Like, it's good to be home. But like, there's no other feeling than taking a train into Manhattan, getting off of Penn, walking up those stairs, and smelling and seeing and breathing in Manhattan.
I
And
am right there with you.
there's
Well,
just
the only thing you're missing is a Krispy Kreme in hand, because that's the only damn place you can get them is Penn fucking Station.
oh yeah.
But I agree with you. And some people might have the opposite thing and be like, oh my God, what do you mean? New York City smells like shit. No, it doesn't matter. It's not a good or bad smell. It is just, it's a smell that no other place has. And it's just like familiar. And usually we're walking right or taking a cab right to a venue when we walk up those stairs. You know what I mean? And it's just, we have a lot of good memories in New York City, but there's definitely, places that I want to travel that have great music history, and just maybe like some places that some of my favorite bands hailed from, and you get a sense of what inspired them. Or
For those who don't know, she's talking about Phil again.
what the fuck?
Dude, we're fucking
No,
going right
listen,
next year. Like,
you
it's
know
like,
what though?
we're gonna probably, I'm gonna say safely, we're gonna fucking make it a pact now on the podcast, so we can't fucking take back what we say, and it's gonna be in fucking record, and people we know are gonna be listening to this and say, yeah, didn't we say in this podcast episode? We're going for my birthday next year. Like, that's it. Because, and I say my birthday in particular because it's October. And I
And mine's
feel like
next month, and let's face it, we're shutting down next month again, probably.
not only that, but let's be real. As much as it's New Orleans, it's going to be brick as tits when we go to fucking New Orleans in January. So
Yeah.
even if we were to wait till next January, I think it's a better idea if we go in October, because I feel like
I completely agree. And that's right on brand with my whole needing a spooky adventure type thing. I want to go to
we'll do a
Marie.
podcast from there.
That would be awesome. All right. Next year, your birthday is done. I would do the little handshake from what's the fucking wait, hold on. What's the show? Why am I blanking right now?
Modern Family.
Modern Family. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's boom, 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 and then it's like the up, and then and then he twirls. That's it.
I twirl my hair.
That's Olaf.
I love that man.
Oh shit.
He's been reading stories, like bedtime stories to children on Twitter during quarantine. That's a real fucking MVP right there. That's somebody.
Oh my God, that is so sweet.
To the best use that they possibly can. It's like doing something for the kids, because as much as us as adults, we have mental health issues and depression and just all around, even if you don't have either one of those things, just being in the house for that long and not being able to work and make money and having to worry about you and your loved ones getting this crazy fucking virus that's going around, you got to feel for the kids out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're clueless. They have no idea what's going on. Like, my niece in particular is 6 years old, and all she's been talking about is how she misses her friends at school. And it's heartbreaking
Heartbreaking.
because they really like, we were fortunate enough to not have to go through something like this. Like, yeah, we dealt with, like, they had swine flu and weird shit when we were growing up, but like nothing to this level of severity.
No.
And it's so scary. Like, a lot of people, which with, for good reason, can't see their family for Christmas or be around their family for Christmas. And just as a kid, like, that genuinely would have broken my heart, is situations like that where it's supposed to be your family and loved ones all together, and now it's like literally down to you, your mom, your dad, and your siblings. It's
Mhm.
horrible. Like, I can't even imagine as a child what it's like. Like, my other niece is 17, and she was like, no school, okay, I'll sleep till
Yeah,
2 o'clock in the afternoon and get up and play video games and do like Zoom meetings for school. Like, it's different when you're that age, but when you're,
absolutely.
younger, it's like that's what you look forward to, is like picking your outfit to go to school and hanging out with your friends, and during recess and having lunch with them and shit. And it's like there's a lot of things that people can't do right now, and it's scary. But with that being said, I think that's the other reason why we're doing is that we're just trying to bring some light and happiness and bab joy
A
to
little bad joy.
everybody.
You know, the last show that I went to before quarantine was Mr. Bungle. That was the last show I saw. They have not played. You know, oh my God. It's definitely over 20 years. I don't know if I should say 30 years. I'm really trying to think of when like their like last album came out before this release they just did in October. Basically, they took the very first demo that they ever did. This is even before Faith No More was even a thought, and they took that demo and they recorded it. They and then like they made it sound the way that it was always intended to sound. And so they threw that record out there, and it's all hardcore. This is shit that Mike wrote when he was like 16 years old, and he's seeing it now at like 52, maybe 51, 52.
That's
So it was absolutely crazy. It was an insane show, and I think that he's going to drop something new with Tomahawk as well. But yeah, talk about like if that was the last show I was able to see. I remember around that time, because it was February 11th was the show uh this year, and I remember the virus was being like talked about, whatever, but it wasn't like here yet.
yeah.
So I remember thinking like, oh, like I like kind of like having like an off feeling going, but obviously once the music started I just forgot about it. But damn, like what was the last concert that you attended before all this?
Not including local shows.
Yeah, like a big band, I guess. Big, you know what I mean? Corn? Fuck.
And it's
They're so
crazy
much
because I was
fun to
just talking
see.
about them the other day, and I was like, honestly, I could easily say if somebody said to me tomorrow, you have to pick one band to see live, and it was just them by themselves for 4 hours, who would you pick? And it was honestly a toss up between Korn and Rammstein.
Corn that was so much fun. Oh my God. I think the first time I saw them, I went to Atlantic City with Scooty Bounce,
Shout out to Judy.
Mascotti, and Pete and Benny. And we all went to the show at the House of Blues there. So I think that was like 2009.
Wow.
That was an incredible show. Oh my God.
I can't
Um,
imagine. That must have been so much. I've never been to a show in Atlantic City, but like I've heard nothing but freaking awesome things.
oh yeah, I mean it was a little wiggy too because it's not on a bottom floor. So everyone's
Oh,
jumping and you feel the floor moving. So,
wow.
but I was so damn high, I was like, oh, that's cool. You know,
That's
I
pretty
didn't give a
neat.
shit. I just thought like, what a great way. Like if I die, like this is pretty awesome. I died, at a corn concert. That's awesome.
Jonathan Davis is the last person you see. Do you think you get to
Yo,
heaven that way? Imagine.
am I going to heaven anyway? We don't know. We have no idea. No, you know what? For all the shit that we've done, whatever, if there is a hell, I'm not going there. And you're not either.
Right?
I can say that with confidence because regardless of like the weird or dark shit that we're into, we don't actually do bad.
I'm just gonna quote Billy Joel and say, "I'd rather laugh with the sinners than cry with the saints."
I'm just gonna fucking quote Russell Brand and say fucking I love my bangers, beans, and mash.
That's what I feel like right now. Some bangers and
Yo. Mm.
B is being like real difficult. I'm not just like spazzing out and being like, "Hey, bye guys," and like
No,
turning.
it's fine. So my two cats are Gaston and Simba, and in the beginning they were kind of freaking out a little bit. So if you saw me like reaching like this, it was because I was trying to get Gaston off of like the shelf over here.
When I
Because
want
he
to
was
cut you off before, but you were talking about we were talking about mental health, and behind you they're both on the couch, and it's funny because it looked like they were like having a conversation with each other, like face to face, like talking. Aww.
oh my babies.
See, my guys, I have Ragnar and B. B is standing in the doorway. Not that you could see him because it's like literally just like a silhouette where my fingers like, yeah, right there.
Oh shit.
So he's
Yeah,
like
no,
sitting in the
he's
doorway, but Little is sitting on Paul's gym bag right here.
sorry. I'm sorry for yawning, by the way. I went to work today. I've been up since 7:30. I know to most people that's like
You're fine.
nothing.
We're old now, so we're getting
I'm fucking
sleepy.
old. I'm fucking old. I'm sorry. I get up at 7:30. What time is it now? 8:30. It might as well be midnight because that's where my brain is at. Like, it's
That's
so crazy.
now getting back into like a work schedule and going to work like 9 to 5, like Monday through Friday. I could honestly say now on the weekends, like I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, I've been laying in bed all morning. Like 12:30. I went in the kitchen and looked at the clock because my cell phone had died. It was 9:35. I was like,
That's like sleeping in
yeah.
for me. Sleeping in is 9:30.
And I'm okay with that because I can't stand waking up. Like it was one thing when I wasn't working, but I can't stand waking up and it being like 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon
Oh yeah.
and being like,
Oh,
wow, I just wasted the whole day.
you want to talk about being old? How about having the energy, right? Like you go to a show and you get home and there's that adrenaline, right? You can't fucking go to sleep because you got to look through all the pictures that you took. And you have to talk about the show with the people you went with. Probably eat like White Castle at 3 a.m. while you're drunk as fuck and just like sit there and bask in it and your muscles are aching and it's such a good feeling because you feel like you've had like this amazing workout and you can't hear shit. Now, after a show, I have a limit for how much time I'll like spend outside after the venue now. And damn, like I waited outside for Mike Patton and he just went right into his Uber and it was in February and we were freezing and he was not being
Got an Uber?
I'm pretty sure it was an Uber. I
Probably.
like I want to say it was an Uber because it was just like a normal
He's probably
like a regular
a
car.
premium or something.
Yeah.
That's not
But
fucking make it sound like he like took a cab, like hauled a cab and like left. But like that's just like
but
once again, that's something like I would never think like you would think someone like him would have like a town car like waiting for him outside. But
no, totally. But you know what?
I've seen
This
that
is
before with people
this
though. It's
is
like hysterical.
And this, just to be clear, Mike Patton is actually like, he's not a dick because apparently before the show, that's when he went outside and he signed shit and he met people. So we didn't get there early enough for that. But you know, and then I get home and I have that whole adrenaline thing and it's familiar and it's great. The next day, I'm fucking dying. I am dying. Okay, every muscle hurts and it's not a good feeling. I'm reaching for ibuprofen. I feel like I can't move as good and I'm my whole sleep schedule is messed up. But back then it was nothing. But I can't sleep past like a certain point now anyway. like past like 9 at least on a day off. I don't know. I just can't. I used to, we were younger, waking up at like noon or something on a Saturday after being out like drinking all night or something.
Remember, I would come to your side door and like bang on the side door to like wake you up, and you would get so mad.
I was
And
so
then
mad.
you just went, it was like as if you just went to sleep like an hour before and had
I
no
know.
sleep prior to that. Like I remember you used to get like infuriated, and then we started putting pictures of Phil on your door on the side.
Oh my God, they're
Give
still
me something to
there.
look at. Thank
They're
God.
still there.
Yeah, don't ever take them down. I don't
I'm
care
never
how much
taking those
you want
things
to bathe
down.
them.
And also, like, can confirm I am a crabby ass bitch in the morning. I just am. Like, I need, like, when I wake up, there needs to be, like, silence. I need to, like, eat. And then after I eat and, like, I hit my vape a little bit, I'm like, all right, I feel like a human being. And I've always been like that. And it's horrible.
No,
It's
it's not.
fucking
I
horrible.
feel like everybody has their like go-tos in the morning. Like I never really cared for coffee, but now I feel like I get up, I freaking like lay in bed for a couple minutes. Like it's funny, like talking about morning routines. Like I take showers in the morning before I go to work. I hate it. I absolutely hate it because I always like you. I put my showers on like scorching hot, and
Uh,
when I wake up, my room's always cold because the air conditioning is on. But as soon as I go in the shower, I'm like, I could fall asleep in here. I could
oh
just
my
like
God, I know.
and just curl up in a ball and sit in the bottom of my shower and just like like veg out. But no, I'm looking at my alarm and saying, okay, I have 10 minutes to take a shower because then I got to blow dry and straighten my hair, do my makeup, and then I have to be at work at a certain time.
Rushing through a shower is like, I hate that feeling.
And
Cause
even
like
if
we
I get
got
up earlier,
women,
I'm just still
women have, women have like 3 types of showers, right? It's like the rinse off, no washing of the hair, dry shampoo shower. Then there's the like head to toe, like shaving from everything below the eyebrows and we feel like fucking dolphins with nice like hairdos, right? And then and then there's like the third one where we could just like sit in there and you know what I mean, just like under the hot water, like it's like therapy.
yeah,
I don't
that's
know if
cool.
it's
If we use soap, that's cool. But like
yeah.
chances are like if I take a shower like that, like I took a shower that morning where like I used like shampoo and soap and like did like a full like cleansing shower. But those are the best when you just like sit there and like the other night
Oh, I
Paul came
love it.
into the bathroom and I had the Christmas lights on in the bathroom. I have blue Christmas lights up in my bathroom. And I had
Oh,
all
that
the lights
sounds
off
so
except the
chill.
Christmas lights on. And he's like, you know you're taking a shower in the dark. Like so nonchalantly. And I was like, yes,
uh
I can
yeah,
see.
I
I don't have
fucking
my
love
eyes closed, like I know the lights are off, but it's just like a totally like serene thing. But I think we should
I
talk about a little what we're gonna go into next week.
I
Well,
think so
technically
too.
not next week because next week is Christmas. So realistically, I'm gonna say we're gonna start our first official. This is like our first episode, but our first official like episode talking about like bands and stuff. We're gonna obviously start with the letter A. This is the first letter of the alphabet, people. And we're gonna ask you guys on Instagram what bands you guys want to hear. We're gonna pick our 2, maybe even 3 favorite bands, and we're going to delve into them a little bit. Obviously, you're going to notice we're going to be talking about other bands more, maybe because we favor them more. It's nothing personal. Don't get offended. But if you want to hear a certain band us talk about in particular, and obviously we're going to do this ahead of time. So if someone tells us a band that maybe we don't know a lot about, we could do more research on them, find out interesting facts about them that maybe you guys didn't even know, and get into it from there.
Yeah, yeah. I think that next week, I mean, I could just spoiler alert, definitely going to cover some Alice in Chains next week because that's definitely my choice for that letter. We'll be talking about some like cool little factoids that maybe aren't often talked about. I'll cover we will cover our opinions on that band, different songs, and also I don't know if we're going to pick 2 A bands each or one A band each, but we'll figure it out as we go. We just want to get like a feel for it and or find our voice and hopefully entertain you guys in the process.
Thank you guys for listening. You guys.
Thank you guys so much for listening. This is MGR and we like
it. Shout out to Phil and Samo for being the inspiration of this podcast. Maybe next episode when we talk about Alice in Chains, we'll play around with our virtual backgrounds a little bit. We started playing around before we got into recording.
I think you know what? Let's see if I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like pull it up now. I don't know. This probably isn't the time for me to be like playing around with it, but I'm just gonna
episode.
Wait.
That would be your first background that you saved.
But
I can't right now. I don't know if I could do it while I'm on here either, but
no, you can do it. What's up, baby?
I'm gonna what?
Oh my God, Phil, I'm not a creep. I'm your biggest fan. I'm sorry. Listen, my obsession with Pantera and Down has been a meme since the start of our friendship. So you're like over there in fucking NASA.
I'm just sailing through space, girl. Just trying to make do with the world. That's me right now.
That's me right now.
Where a lot of that.
You need to wear your "That's Me Right Now" hoodie that I had made for you.
It was funny. I was going to wear it this first episode, but then I didn't know if I was doing a virtual background, so I didn't know if the purple was in flash. But that will definitely make a cameo appearance in this podcast.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, oh my God, that was so creepy.
What?
Like you couldn't see my arm. Yeah, wait.
Gail.
Now we're playing around. Well, there was a point where you could see like just my hand and not my arm.
Oh my.
We'll play with that.
Okay. Clearly we could just fuck around on this thing like forever. So next week, tune in for the letter A.
Check us out on Instagram.
Metal Gail.
Wherever we post this podcast, we're still figuring that out. We will figure that out by tomorrow because we're going to upload this tomorrow. But we have a Facebook page we're going to have an Instagram page. Check us out. We love you guys. And
love you all.
Stay Gary.
Stay Gary, Sarah Gary.